100 games now for Mikel Arteta as Arsenal player and manager, signed for £10 million in August 2011 from Everton, and 350 now as a manager on the touchline. I'm not sure any more dramatic than the final 10 minutes of this one here at the London Stadium today. Here he is with Patrick Davison.
Well, Mikel, your 500th game representing Arsenal as a player and a manager. Can you remember one more nerve-shredding than that?
I'm gonna certainly remember this day and this number. It was a roller coaster of emotions. We knew it was gonna be a really tough day, fighting for their lives. We are trying to win the Premier League, so much at stake. We started the game so well. I think we had 3 big chances. We didn't put the game away, and then with the injury of Ben, we have to make a change. Then we have to adapt to that change again and make some difficult decisions. We throw everything that we had to try to win it. I think we got rewarded for that courage. Martin had an unbelievable action that helps you to win the game with Leo. And today I have to congratulate them, because I think you need a lot of courage and bravery to stand out, to at least give the opportunity to a referee to have a look at the action, because there is so much chaos and bodies in and around the box. But when you see the picture clearly, I think there is no question that it's a clear foul.
That second where the score clock does read 1-1, what is that like for you? Does your season, your career flash before your eyes?
I don't know, because there's still another 2 games to play, but yeah, we really came here to win the game today. And when you throw everything and everything that you've done in the season to create those moments and this scenario, I think somehow you have to get rewarded, and we certainly got.
Fiore, he was taken up at half-time. Our understanding was at the time that was tactical, but Mikel Arteta saying he's injured, so hopefully they'll have him back as quickly as possible. Roy, I wanted to ask you a question from the perspective of being a manager, because when you're watching a game as a fan, like Ian was today, when your team concedes a goal, it is absolutely sickening. When you score a goal, it is the best feeling in the world. What is it like as a manager there? Are you feeling those emotions, or is it more that you're trying to calculate what to do in those moments?
I think there's a bit of both, but I think we've seen the side to Arteta there where it's that emotion side of him. I usually, when he comes out, a bit like Pep can be sometimes, and it's kind of very robotic, and they're managers and they're in the zone or whatever. But his interview there, it's obviously relief. We've heard that from the players, but even from the manager, he's got a bit of a smile on him. He's obviously got a smile there to himself. He knows the importance of it. And there's everything going on, Dave. There's obviously, he's got to be a professional. He's tactically trying to make decisions. He's obviously said he's acknowledged 1 or 2 things there, moving Declan, and then 1 or 2 injuries at half-time. So we use that phrase, roller coaster. It's extreme highs. When you go to goal up, I'm just thinking, listen, because we've been so solid at the back, then they concede an injury time. He'd be going through all sorts. So that's why we see these managers after games, they're absolutely drained. It'll be the same for the West Ham manager, the highs and lows.
So watching from one manager to another, how well do you think he is managing these incredibly dramatic, crucial moments?
Very well, absolutely. I think he's had good backing over the last few years, and there's been a lot of, obviously, criticism towards Arsenal and Arteta, obviously, and he's had that support. He had good recruitment again this summer, and the last few years when Arsenal kind of slipped up, it was because they're not mentally strong. They were weak and bottled it and all this type of stuff. So if people are going to be criticising for that when they were kind of slipping up, then we've got to praise them for what they're doing now. But even though they're doing well, it's like, oh no, it's a bit boring, it's a bit robotic. They're strong at set pieces, but yeah, that's the bit you were getting criticised for the last few years. So you have to give him all the praise. They've been patient with him. He's had the backing, but he's doing the business. So you have to take your hat off to him.
Yep. Did you fear, though, that he might have made a bit of a mistake in that first half with that positional change for Declan Rice, particularly, which did seem to lose Arsenal momentum?
Yeah, it just felt like Declan, being for me the best player, is not in the most important place for us, and that's in the middle, progressing with the ball and breaking things up and getting things going alongside Miles Lewis-Skelly.
So if that was a mistake, do you then praise him for actually finding that correction quite quickly at half-time?
Well, I think it had to happen, because Declan being out there, it's when they started to build momentum in the game, because then Crescencio was able to get on the ball and get at him, and then they started to attack us down that side a little bit. So I was feeling at some stage, surely Mosquera, who is a right-back, who's coming on.
Right-back, centre-back, yeah.
Right-back, centre-back. I'm thinking, well, that's the natural substitution to make, but for some reason he didn't make it. And then Declan could stay where he was, Miles could stay there, and then they could carry on playing. It doesn't disrupt the formation.
Yeah, but managers are entitled to make mistakes. Managers make mistakes all the time. It's just how quickly they learn from it and improve it. And then when you've really top quality players, you hope obviously they can cover for you sometimes. It's like players make mistakes all the time, and managers or coaching staff, they're entitled
It'd
to
have
make
been
that
interesting,
mistake.
Roy, if it played out differently, and that's
Yeah, but which it has done the last few years, where they've been criticised, but now when they're getting over the line, then you have to flip that and go, listen, well done, you're getting the job done. And it's about being effective and winning football matches. And we've said it earlier, if you're going to win the league, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty something. You have to roll your sleeves up. They did that again today.
2 games to go. Burnley next Monday night. And this is what Arsenal's record looks like at home against Burnley. Lots of green W's in there that represent the victories, but let me draw your attention to the last 3 Burnley visits there. Arsenal have won just one of them, Jamie, which suggests this might not be the foregone conclusion, although Burnley are already relegated. They've got a point today that everyone thinks.
Oh, it is. It is. I've got no doubt at all they'll beat Burnley comfortably. Not even an issue. I've seen Burnley this year enough to know. I mean, they put up a bit of a fight today against Aston Villa, but no, they don't go to Arsenal and get anything. It'd be too much for them. Now, the Crystal Palace game, that's a slightly different one. But I don't think for 1 second they won't beat
At Selhurst Park, that is Arsenal's record.
So those games are all fine, but what we're talking about is pressure like these players have never faced before in their life, knowing that they can go and win a title. Roy's done it 7 times, Roy? 7, 8 times? Right, he's done it. I've not won it, and I know how it feels to not win it. And I know how pressure can take over you sometimes, and you make bad decisions. Certain things that feel so easy don't become that easy. And for the manager right now, he wants something so badly, and he's got his friend, but also his nemesis chasing him down. They're not going to give you an inch, Man City. So,
But they've dealt with the pressure well this year.
think
The
so, yeah.
previous season.
But does it feel different when you get to this stage with 2 games left? You know it's almost yours.
It does, but when you look at your team and your squad, and you will look around, and sometimes in the last few years you've looked at their team and you're going, yeah, the team, and Odegaard was the main man, and Saka, there was no backup plan. There was always, well, if these lads don't turn up, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But now you're looking at Arsenal going, even if they're not the very best, obviously they can get over the line with set pieces. But what we saw today, the dream scenario for them, when they're up against it, and 1 or 2 injuries, and right, maybe the manager will say, maybe I got that wrong. It's the players coming off the bench. We had it United. It's not about your starting 11. Never has been. But they didn't have that strength and depth. Their bench today.
did you fancy, Roy, honestly, when they lost at City, you still fancied Arsenal?
Yeah, well, I certainly wasn't writing them off. I
No,
wasn't
I don't
sitting
write
there
them up, but they've had
No, I still thought, do you remember a hell of a chance? Of course, because I love watching Man City, but it's not the Man City from 2 or 3 years ago when they're definitely going to win the last 6, 7, 8 games, or whatever it might be. So I always felt them with a chance. And again, I go back to it.
Especially when we
The one thing
played
I kept looking at Arsenal's squad and going, there's enough there. And all these last 2 or 3 years where they've come up short, they were all, you wouldn't think at the time, are actually good experiences from.
Yeah.
You have to lose to win. So they will learn from the last 3 years, like we saw today. Maybe this time last year they might have slipped up, but you're like, there's enough belief about the group. And again, the options off the bench is fantastic.
And we shouldn't forget, it's not just the Premier League trophy they are chasing, it's also the Champions League, the European Cup. This could be greatness bestowed upon Arsenal. And these are the only teams in English football history that have ever won the top division and the European Cup in the same season. Liverpool twice, 70s and 80s. Manchester United, of course, did it as part of that incredible treble Roy was part of. And again in 7-8. And City just 3 years ago. So, we talked before the game about what it would mean if Arsenal were to complete that extraordinary double. You actually said, I think, that they would go down into the greatest team
I think so.
in Arsenal's history.
No, he said in football history.
Well, I didn't pick you up on that, right? You go more than the Invincibles that went unbeaten in a whole season.
Yeah, simply because this team have got the capability of, if they can win it, they'll be invincible in the Champions League. If they can win that and win the Premier League, and that team, the Invincible team, as great as they were with their individuals, this team will surpass them with what they've done, because they'll have done something that that team hasn't done, and they've got to get a lot of credit for that, for what they've been through in the journey to get to here with the manager. Obviously playing a very good PSG side, and it's going to be a real battle of styles, but they have got themselves there and they deserve to be there. They deserve to be where they are now because they've gone through it, like I say, for the 3 years. They've built this squad. They've got the players on the bench to help to come on and finish, like Mikel says, and they've done it up to this point. So if they can finish it off, which I'm praying that they can, of course they have to go down as the best team in Arsenal's history.
And even a bit of success what I had in our career at United, and you were looking at it was always the kind of fringe players came in at the end and got you over the line.
Yeah.
Because obviously fatigue can kick in and players playing lots of matches, but it's the lads like Lewis Skelly's come in for the last few games, lads who haven't been playing recently. Saka's come back in after an injury. We saw Odegaard coming on today, whereas the last few years looking at Odegaard, he's the main man, and maybe the pressure took its toll on him, but he came on today for and it's a different test for him, and he could deal with that.
There have been seasons, Roy, where this Arsenal squad have had more points. They got 89 and didn't win. They've scored more goals, almost 20 more in recent seasons.
Yeah.
But is it only trophies that define greatness?
Without a doubt, I think to get over the line, yeah. And don't worry, again, we're talking about previous totals compared to points totals. But when you get that league medal, there's no table on the medal. It just says that you're the best team in the league that year, and whatever setbacks and disappointments you've had. And Arsenal had a big one a few weeks ago, at City. They bounced back well. They have bounced back from disappointments, and that shows for all their qualities.
They've learned from the mistakes.
And there's plenty of characters there.
The greatest team in Arsenal's history, potentially, if they can get over the line in these
Big
two
call, right?
final
Yeah. Big call.
competitions.
I'm sticking by that one.
But no individuals within that are good enough to win the football.